You're listening to the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by Referral Mortgages and Blue Panda Realty, with your hosts, Paul Stevenson, David Warren, and Greg Campbell. Let's see what's going on in the world of real estate in our nation's capital.
Hello, and welcome back to the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast. I'm going to not let Greg laugh today, and I'm going to keep going.
It's impossible. I'm holding it back.
My name is Paul Stevenson. I'm here with Greg Campbell. I'm here with David Warren, and we do have a special guest who will be joining us momentarily. I am one of the owners of Referral Mortgages here in Ottawa, and I'm also a mortgage agent, and David Warren is my business partner. He is an owner as well at Referral Mortgages and a mortgage agent, and Greg Campbell is a
magician.
A magician.
Wizard.
He is a partner over at Blue Panda in Orleans and located also in Ottawa. And we're here. We're back. It's Monday. Great weekend.
It is. It's Monday.
How did it go? How was the weekend?
My weekend was exceptional. I showed some homes on the weekend to multiple buyers, which was exciting, showing that the market is still moving forward and people are still active. Not as many listings coming out, meaning more potential for bidding offers as usual the last couple of weeks. And yesterday I had some family time, you know. It was my brother-in-law's daughter's first birthday yesterday. So we celebrated that.
Okay.
That's amazing. I too had a birthday celebration yesterday. My daughter's 21st birthday. We had a family.
No one would ever believe that.
No, we had an amazing,
especially with that baby face you got going on since Friday, Paul.
Oh, yeah. Greg, you like the clean shave?
Yeah, it's good.
I feel like Lex Luthor. I had the whole fam over. It was awesome. Ordered some Chinese food, which was nice. Always a treat, you know. Birthday cake, the whole nine. But quite a contrast from one.
Yeah, it's many years, 20 years difference.
Yeah. Dave, how was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Didn't really get up too much. Just kind of laid low. Hung around the house, got some errands done. That's about it.
What were you going to say, Paul? What?
I was going to say about Serena's birthday. So Paul, for those of you that don't know, Paul and I have known each other for close to 30 years. And so I remember knowing and holding Serena when she was, just born. So the fact that she's 21 now, not only is Paul for Paul being surreal, but it's also pretty crazy for those of us that grew up,
yeah, my friends are all having kids, and she could clearly have a child at this age. So, it's it's pretty hilarious. Kids having kids.
Yeah.
No rush, Serena. Take your time, please. Please.
Yeah.
So the market, Greg, you're saying you're out with buyers. How are we looking for listings? Like, what's the overall market looking like?
It's okay. And I'm still seeing the same thing, like front to back, north to south, whatever. It's, I was looking this morning. Orleans is pretty much the same. The average price is up a little bit, but the average sale price is about 100%. Like I've been saying the last few weeks, just about 20 days on market. It's about 100%. And same thing. The purchase price in Canada is a little bit higher, but the days on market and percentage list ratio or sales to list ratio, it's about 100%. It's just a little bit over, but it's not. Yeah, it's good. It's pretty balanced when it comes to that. But like I said, there's some exceptional homes going in multiple offers. I'm going in on one tomorrow. Not sure if we'll get it, but we're going to give it a good shot. And there was also a couple I know of yesterday that got offers on it. They only got the one offer. Seller didn't want it, didn't take it. Now they increased the price. So we're seeing that a little bit too. Again, there's just no consistent change. It's just like these tides moving in and out.
But I would imagine you mentioned that there's less listings. I would imagine, it's a lot due to Christmas coming up and that 2-week break for the most part. A lot of, mostly lawyers and lawyers' offices. I know a couple of lawyers that shut down from the 24th all the way through to the 3rd. A lot of the banks only have a few days that they're open, 28th to 30th. So those of you that are looking to put in offers, try to wrap it up by the 22nd, 23rd, because if you don't close or there's a delay on your closing on the 23rd, you might not close the 24th, because lawyers' offices, city, they're only open half days on the 24th. Make sure that you're getting in early.
It's a very good point, Dave. We should clearly make a full, holiday notice that, I know our office is closed from the 23rd to the 3rd. I know a lot of lawyer offices are closed. A lot of banks, even just lenders, are closed for that whole holiday season. So no December 28th closings, if possible. For everyone.
And you know what, man? Everyone has worked so hard in this industry this year that you deserve the break. It's like anyone else who can't get it needs to kind of beat it, in my mind. But that's a very good point. Get it done. I will say that people who are on the fence about listing their homes for sale, get it done. Try to get it done, because you can easily sell your home before the holidays, and you can close in as late as March, April right now.
To me, this is real estate
happening for next June.
This is the best time to buy real estate.
Yeah.
This is when I bought this house last year was December 7th. So it's like right in this window where people are like, you know what? Let's just wait till the new year. Let's just put a hold on things. Let's go. That's when you got to hop in there and
it's true.
Find those deals.
Most properties that I've bought as flips, because I do that on the side, is November, December. We start and the last 4 or 5 have been November, Decembers, and we, renovate. We take a pause over Christmas a little bit, but that's kind of the time at which people kind of shy away. There's a lot. I find there's great deals, and people think that listing in the winter is a bad time. I love it, and always done well listing in the winter. So it's I mean, there's no real bad time to buy or sell, for that matter. If you listen to this episode or this podcast regularly, you'll see
that's
that
right.
It really goes in ebbs and flows on a weekly basis.
Well, listen, all that said, let's get into our very, 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 very special guest. We talked about it last week. We talked about HouseSigma, and just like that, just like magic, TOREP, the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast, has the Director of Business Development, Michael Carney, on the show. That's how we do it. What's up, Mike?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Mike.
You're our pleasure. I'm super excited to talk about this. So for anyone that was listening last week, we were talking a bit about HouseSigma, saying it's a new, it's an application you can use on your web browser or on your phone to find homes, what's been going on in the neighborhood, way more information that you can get out of any app I've ever seen in the city. So Mike, why don't you, thanks again for being on here. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? Tell us about HouseSigma, how it all got started, and what it is.
Absolutely. So our platform was started in early 2019 by our 2 founders, Joseph and Reed. They're both data scientists, and they had a bit of a challenge and kind of a less than optimal experience purchasing their first home. And they really kind of wanted to address this problem of being able to find all this data in one kind of clear and concise place. So they built HouseSigma. It's an app, it's a tool, it's a website that's allowed for users to basically view all the different property and sold data. It was originally just in Toronto, but now we've expanded. We're happy to say we now have Ottawa sold real estate data in there, so people can take a look at different neighborhoods and different communities and get a really clear picture of what the real estate market is looking like at any given point.
Anytime you put scientist in front of a title, it just, instant credibility. I'm a house scientist. Data scientist sounds like someone who's very intelligent, knows what they're doing. So
they certainly
trust
are.
them.
And there's a lot of things they talk about, like artificial intelligence that's involved that I certainly don't understand.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. And my favorite part about this is that you're also a full service real estate brokerage.
That's correct. Yes, we are a brokerage. We're growing quite rapidly. So we are a brokerage which basically allows agents to service leads that are generated from HouseSigma. So if you take a look at any individual listing, there's typically an option to schedule a viewing. And if you fill in that information, you'll connect with one of our HouseSigma agents.
Yeah, and what I like about HouseSigma more than some of the other platforms I've seen is that they're more of like just an online lead generating tool where you guys are giving the public and the agents all the information.
That's our philosophy. We want to be as transparent as possible. There's a lot of things that we could do to basically try to increase user engagement by hiding information or putting it behind, they would have to subscribe or to put in information. That's not our philosophy at all. We want to have all the information front and center available for a user to view and just basically consume real estate content and get information, even if they're not necessarily in the market right now.
So if I'm a home buyer, general home buyer, first time buying a home, like what information will I be able, forget home buyer or first time home buyer, but just a home buyer, what information am I going to get from HouseSigma that I wouldn't get just from general public data?
So there's quite a bit, actually. So if you take a look at any individual listings, there'll be all the information that you would typically get on Realtor.ca, like the listing agent, the brokerage, the selling price, the days on market. But there's also a number of other information. So we have a market temperature feature. And basically what that does is takes a look at new listings compared to sold data to calculate the absorption rate and try to figure out if the market is in a seller's market, a balanced market, or in a buyer's market. They'll also find that there's, if you scroll down, there's a lot of different information such as what the potential rent could be, information about the schools in the district. One really interesting feature that is certainly something that's appropriate in Toronto is we have a Sigma estimator. So it will estimate the value of a home. So one interesting thing is about 2 weeks ago, there was an article in CTV about a Toronto home that was listed for $1. So obviously no buyer knows how to really address that. So we were able to go into CTV actually took a look at HouseSigma, pulled up that individual listing and pulled our data, our estimated price, and put that online to help kind of guide people as to how to put in a first offer.
And has that property sold? Yeah,
Frank, I'm not sure. That's a good question. I'd have to check. This was just posted about 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
So
sold double the list price.
Sigma was.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure the broker, the selling broker, will put a big advertisement saying 10,000 times oversold price, something like that.
It's like the crypto market. Just 89 million times the.
Well, we see that a lot. I don't know if that's something you guys see in Ottawa, but it's not uncommon for agents to list the home quite significantly under value. That's a challenge for a first-time home buyer, especially somebody who's not familiar with the industry, to kind of see. I've got buyers come to me all the time showing me a listing, I can afford this. And then you take a look at the closer data, the sold comparables, and realize that they're clearly trying to generate a bidding war and trying to start something on offer night.
So this is a very important comment you just made, because especially with other tech companies like the auction house Unreserved that's working in Ottawa a lot now and moving into Toronto, I believe, they'll do like what kind of at the beginning when multiple offers became common, there was people listing very low. It was selling 150, 250 over list. But now what we're finding is that's not as common, but with the auction house, with Unreserved in play, they're listing low. So the buyers are messaging me saying like, oh, I really want to go see this right away. And I'm like, well, you can't because it's listed like this. It's an auction. Here's the true comparables. But with HouseSigma, now they can just do that on their own. So as an agent to be working with a buyer being like, just keep this app close to you. If you see a property, if you really like it, you might want to just check the comparables in the area, and you can be informed before we even have a conversation about that. It's giving them the freedom of data. I love this. One
thing that we're seeing when we take a look at kind of the analytics of the site and the user activity, we find that most users, once they start to fill out a user account, they register their phone number, they verify their email, that kind of thing. It's typically about 3 to 4 months before they actually start to engage with us as a brokerage. So and I kind of equate it to, it's almost like Expedia. Like you wouldn't talk to a travel agent if you were thinking about booking a trip next year. You might just want to get some information, but you're not actually ready to talk to somebody. So HouseSigma kind of fills that need. It allows for somebody to get information about real estate, consume real estate content, even if they're not necessarily in the market and aren't ready to talk to an agent.
And and you mentioned as well on the when you were explaining how kind of data points HouseSigma has, and you mentioned market rents as well. Where are you deriving that rents, that rental income kind of estimate from?
Yeah, so it's all coming from the different boards. So as we expand to different markets, so we're joining like a new board every week across Ontario. So we're collecting information from all of these different boards. It's all going into a very complicated system that I'm not aware of because the boards don't quite align one-to-one. So we kind of feed it into this master database, which then generates the HouseSigma content.
Got it. Okay.
So I have maybe a harder question, Michael.
Okay.
So for, I know just from the boards that I've seen it mentioned on and so on, that the response from existing real estate agents, Greg aside, is maybe not as excited because they feel that maybe you guys are kind of stepping on their toes. So what, I'm assuming you guys obviously have thought about this and I'm sure have felt that kind of wave. So where do you stand as far as, I'm assuming you're not trying to eliminate this market. So
Absolutely
what is kind
not.
of the goal and what's kind of your response to the real estate agents who maybe are reluctant to support this sort of platform?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. It's a new tool, and there's always a little bit of understanding that has to come before it's kind of accepted by the community. But ultimately, we are a tool, and that's kind of our intention. I would say, like, there's a lot of data points that can't really go into this formula. Like, it can only take you so far. For instance, for example, like we can pull the data as for sold comparables, but we have no idea what somebody's may have done to renovate their basement, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And there's HouseSigma provides kind of a top level approach where you can see data as a whole and take a look at the entire market temperature, the entire rental rates for communities and property types, and you can get very specific, but it doesn't really replace the kind of boots on the ground, really perspective that a realtor gets. Real estate is not 100% logical market. There's very much a human element to it that it cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence and data science, at least not today. So I'm an agent myself. We're a brokerage. We've got plenty of agents. I would say it's a complementary tool. HouseSigma gives you a bit of a top level approach, and it's fantastic for somebody who's kind of thinking about real estate and maybe doesn't have that immediate need, because it lets you kind of get information about different markets and different homes and get a sense of what your home might be valued at and what you may be able to afford. But ultimately, when you really need to start talking to somebody, you're going to need to go visit homes. You're going to need to talk to listing agents. You're going to need to negotiate that buying process. That's something that you're going to need a realtor to do in order to at least to do effectively, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what Greg's doing is really the best practice then, is to literally tell your clients, like, use this as a tool to get more information, but ultimately, like, there's still, like, Greg is the magician, as we said, the wizard that's going to have to bring them to, give them the insight and the negotiating tactics and so on, right?
Absolutely.
Like, there's still that need. So you're not necessarily trying to get rid of, with unreserved, people kind of have that fear that, they're trying to replace agents, whereas it sounds like yours is much more.
We are
tool,
a brokerage,
right?
as well. It's just brokerage with this extra level of I guess this extra tool, this extra support that not only our agents have, but our users and clients have as well. And it's not just our clients, it's the public at large. We really want to educate the whole market.
Which is important, especially now with so much going on in Canadian real estate. Everybody feels like it's just a complete disaster and they'll never own a home and they just don't know enough about it. But having tools like this just helps everybody at least follow it better, as well as following the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast. Go ahead.
Yes. So we've, as we've kind of begin this expansion in Ottawa is very new. So over the past few weeks, I've learned a little bit about the Ottawa real estate market. So what you can do on HouseSigma is go to the market trends page, and that will show you like listings, average price, sold data, the absorption rate, a bunch of other different things. But if you take a look at Ottawa specifically, downtown Ottawa, central Ottawa, and take a look at condos, we're actually approaching a balanced market, or we're in a balanced market. When you look at Canada and detached homes, we're actually off the charts into a seller's market. But you can actually kind of identify, we're starting to see very much more and more listings and less sellings to kind of suggest that we're approaching a balanced market for a section of homes in Ottawa, condos in the downtown area. So I think for a first time home buyer who's using this platform, over a significant period of time, will start to recognize patterns and start to recognize opportunities that they may have not seen otherwise.
I think that's interesting because, like, as both of you and Greg were saying, and of, realtors using this, their clients using it as a tool. I'm a big believer of the more information you have, the easier it is to make a decision. But what you just kind of mentioned about kind of this heat map around the city as well, it's a tool that realtors should be using that maybe are newer to the industry. Maybe they focus on just Canada, don't focus on Orleans or downtown, where they could kind of get a feel for the market to be able to relay that onto their clients as well, to feel so that, kind of pass along that they are, really knowledgeable about the industry without having to kind of make calls and do a ton of research on their own, right? It's kind of a complementary tool to what they're doing on a day-to-day basis too.
Yeah. And it also, it helps, I think, us as realtors, because you want to deal with an educated client. You want to deal with a client who's realistic about the marketplace. And, if you hear, there's always realtors who are saying certain things, trying to sway clients in different directions. It's nice to have something that's, I guess, more objective, more scientific, that can kind of help the client kind of navigate all these different opinions.
It's very true, because we're the people now where if someone might be like, I don't believe it. I don't believe what you're saying. Even if you send them information, that information could be skewed, what we send to this potential buyer, let's say. And what you have here is basically a tool that I can just be like, don't believe me, go on HouseSigma and look for yourself.
Absolutely.
Really unbiased.
I love that.
Yeah. So there's 16 years of Ottawa real estate data in there. You could take a look at listings, sold prices, comparables. And honestly, I kind of consume real estate content. Like I think I see my teenage cousins consume content on TikTok. I'm just constantly looking at just going through on my phone, looking at different homes and different valuations and different rental markets. It's really quite fun. And
is there any sort of pay component to it, subscription based?
No, absolutely not.
For a user, they're just providing their email address and that's about it.
We need your email and your phone. We verify that so that once you get in, you do have to agree to our terms of service, and then you're in. There is no there's nothing that's behind any kind of wall or any hoops that the user has to jump through. We want to be as transparent as possible. And this is one thing I think there's a lot that we could do. If we were in the mind to just generate as many leads as possible, we could kind of adopt those tactics. But I think this is best for the consumer. It's also best for us as a brokerage, because that way the only people who are putting forward their requests are people who have seen all the information and now they actually want to talk to somebody.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
I think it's a great tool.
Sir.
No, go ahead, Greg.
Yes. So, and you're saying that you're quite aggressively moving into different markets and MLSs. And do you have plans to go? It's strictly Ontario right now, correct?
Yeah. Well, yes, but we are kind of in the process. So yes and no. We're in the process of bringing on Vancouver data.
I figured.
So that's happening now. Yes, that Vancouver is next, definitely, and we're going to go from there. We're going to be going coast to coast.
I guess it kind of the 2019 startup date kind of aligns with when that Toronto Real Estate Board lawsuit kind of settled. And
there's definitely a coherence there. Yeah. Definitely. The company was formed in 2018, and then the site launched in 2019, and the brokerage has been growing just since then quite dramatically. The brokerage has grown like every week. We're adding more and more people. In fact, it feels like every day we're adding multiple agents.
That's very cool. And I mean, so in terms of the brokerage side of things, how many agents do you have overall? Like in the
just
GTA,
over 100. Oh, yeah. So we're just over 100, but it's growing quite rapidly. One thing that if you take a look at the different Ottawa markets right now, and you go to a different listing, it will actually, on the side of the page where it says scheduled viewing, you may see that. Sorry, we don't have a HouseSigma agent who's available to service you. So we actually won't turn that on until we have agents who we believe are qualified and who can basically provide that level of service that we expect them to provide. So I suspect over the next couple of days, you'll start to see more and more HouseSigma agents working in Ottawa. And we're going to start to basically kind of turn on open the floodgates, I suppose, and allow users who are on HouseSigma looking at Ottawa real estate to start to connect with us directly.
My last important question here about the brokerage side of things, the agents that you're recruiting, you can just say yes or no to this. Are the agents that you've recruited so far, are they new agents or are they coming from existing brokerages in Ottawa?
No, we actually don't really recruit new agents.
Okay.
It's something that we've done on a very, very selective basis. We want to see experienced agents. We want to see agents who we're very comfortable with putting in front of our HouseSigma clients. We've spent a lot of effort into building this platform. So we want to make sure that the agents that we put in front of our clients are of the highest quality. So no, we don't hire new agents. We really only kind of do it in very select cases where they're kind of working with another agent in a support capacity, and they really have to impress us. And typically they come from some other kind of high level career where we're confident that they have, like, the soft skills. And then, if there's we pair them with somebody who has the technical skills that so that we can make sure that experience the user gets is top notch.
So all of the leads that are coming in through the app are going to HouseSigma agents, or are you passing them, or do you have relationships with other brokerages maybe in a city like Ottawa where you don't have necessarily many agents? Are you partnering with other realtors at other brokerages and passing them
we're
along?
not. We're hiring them on to join us as HouseSigma agents. So yeah, it's been really fun talking to Ottawa Real Estates over the past few weeks, and we're happy to have just brought on our first few hires. And I suspect it will be growing quite rapidly. Well, there's a lot of interest in HouseSigma kind of on the out there. So we've got
everyone's going to be Googling now. Hey, HouseSigma Ottawa agents. Who is it? Who is it?
So,
watch the traffic go up.
We're starting to see more and more people kind of approach us, actually asking us to join our brokerage, and we've turned away many of them, particularly because we're not in the business of really kind of training new people. We want to work with experienced people.
Right.
And what would you say the kind of growth plan for HouseSigma is, if you're able to share anything about kind of the vision of where the company's going?
Yeah, the vision is to be Canada's #1 source for the public for real estate data, and that's for the whole country. So we're going to be expanding out into Vancouver soon, and then we're going to be approaching every other basically submarket throughout Canada. And then beyond that, I couldn't say, but that's the plan for now.
Got it.
All right.
That's great.
It's great to hear. Very refreshing, I would say, that transparency trumps, giving people the information is actually what they want, just letting them have the data that they should have wins out. I think that's great. I think it's just a good message that, I think for too long in our industry, there's been value in kind of concealing as much information as you can and forcing, like you said, people to have conversations. And I think it needs to be somewhere in the middle, right? Like you want people that are extremely knowledgeable. Even if you have all this data, you're not going to be an expert on how to decipher it or what that means or, how that should affect your offer. But the combination of that and an experienced agent is a winning combination, right? It sounds like.
That's exactly our philosophy. Well said.
I love it. This is, this has been great. I don't know what else to say. You guys have any other questions?
No, I think it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to, on the mortgage broker side, we have some tools that we subscribe to for market data on, property values, automated property values, things like that, sales history and whatnot. So I'm really interested to kind of compare some of the data points of what we're getting from those systems, and then in comparison to what you guys have as well.
Please check us out
when we're submitting. Yeah, when mortgage brokers, and this is something where I'll say that the mortgage brokers out there, listening to the episode, when we're submitting a file to a bank that we know is going to use an automated value system or an AVM model, being as close to submitting that deal to be as close to what that value is going to be allows you have a higher rate of that AVM triggering and actually matching your valuation of when you're submitting that file, as opposed to requiring an in-person appraisal, which then, draws out the timeline for that closing of that refinance or that purchase or what have you, as also costs the client more money, things like that. So being able to have those extra data points on the broker side is also interesting, and also might get away from move away from having to pay for some of these more expensive subscription services, which is interesting, which is always nice.
For sure.
I just have to ask the name. The Sigma, is that like the name HouseSigma? What was the concept there?
So to be fair, I'm not 100% actually on that. I think the goal was to kind of position us as, smart real estate, people who help people make smart choices. So I couldn't give you the specifics.
Straight out of a frat. It's the house frat.
Yeah. Sorry, Greg, you're going to say something there.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask Mike, like, you have any final comments? Where can everybody find you? The website, I guess that's it.
Yeah. So if you could view us on our website, HouseSigma.com. You can also download our app. We're on the Play Store. We're on the App Store. So we're Android, Apple. We've got a fantastic app. I recommend using the app if you just wanted to kind of pull it up on the go, especially as an agent. It's actually faster to get the information from HouseSigma than it would be to log into the board. So yeah, check us out online on the app stores. We would invite everybody to check us out.
Tech wins again.
All right.
Tech wins again.
Well, Paul, you want to get into the mood boost here?
Let's do it. Michael, you're going to be treated today. I got 5 mood boosts.
Awesome.
So we're coming off American Thanksgiving. I had some Black Friday jokes, but we're past that. So I'm moving on. But I do have a quick thing. So, Thanksgiving in the States, they cook lots of crazy food. So number 1 here, food related. What's the best way to cook a gator? In a crock pot.
Oh.
Okay. Number 2, how much did the pirate pay for his peg and his hook?
An arm and a leg.
An arm and a leg.
Oh, yeah. Whoa.
Mike for the win. HouseSigma, everyone. Number 3, how long does it take to know if a pair of underwear fits you well? Just a brief moment.
Oh, yeah.
Number 4, I got 2 more. Number 4, how are stars like false teeth? They both come out at night. They both come out at night. Last but not least, where do Volkswagens go when they get old? To the old Volkshome.
As usual. As usual. Mood boost.
Got to be a few eye rolls in there. It wouldn't be the same.
I think Mr. Carney was the first one to actually answer a joke.
Oh, yeah?
Answer.
Oh,
Ever. That was
nice.
amazing.
Not only answer, but accurately.
Accurately, exactly.
Must be a dad. Hey, the old dad joke.
No, not yet.
Okay, well, there you go. Just quick, we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, North Brew, northbrew.ca coffee. If you go to northbrew.ca and use the promo code podcast, you will get 20% off all your coffee orders. And also just want to say thank you as well to Michael for coming on from HouseSigma. It's great to have you and great insight. And I have a feeling that everyone that listens to this can be like, what the heck is this? And go check it out. So thank you very much. And, we were just interested. So this isn't, we're not getting paid to have Mike on or anything. We genuinely just want to keep everyone in the loop as to what's going on in the market. And like Greg said, we talked about this briefly last week, and then you guys had connected with us kind of coincidentally, and it all kind of worked out. So funny how these things happen. Tech for the win.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Tech for the win. All right, guys. Great show. We'll be back next week. This show will be released Tuesday at 10. As always, shows come out, new episodes released Tuesday, 10 a.m. On all your podcast platforms and on YouTube. And thanks everyone for listening. Hit the subscribe button, like, share. We'll see you next week. Deuces.
The Ottawa Real Estate Podcast is brought to you by Referral Mortgages, Blue Panda Realty, and Stephen Hopkins Video. Thanks for tuning in, and please remember to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you.